Hi Virgo, welcome back to Key Wisdom Tarot. My name is Ruth and I'm your Reiki Master and Tarot Reader. This Virgo is your general bi-weekly reading for the time between October the 25th and November the 11th, okay? I'm going to draw 6 cards initially. The first 3 cards are going to relate to the time in October and I'm posting these on the 24th. And the second 3 cards are going to relate to the time in November, that first week in November, okay? So we're going to get started. I've already shuffled and I've already meditated on the card. I was going to say marinated. Marinated on the card. On the cards. That's from Hitch, my darlings. Before I started, okay? I just want to... The message is going to come through, already coming through very clear. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to deal the cards and then I'll talk to you. Okay, my fabulous Virgos, let us have a look, my darlings. So this is the time in October. So yeah, when I was shuffling before I started, things are coming through just quite strongly. So I thought, let's start the reading straight away. Okay, so you've seen that card fall out already. That card fell out before I turned the camera on to start as well, recording. So as I said, there's a message. Now, before I start, I just want to give a shout out to one of my viewers, Jay. He's a friend of mine, and he left a little voice message on my WhatsApp the other day, and he said, dudes, he said, I've just watched the Virgo video for last week. He said, Root, what's wrong with you, babe? He said, you're right, giddy. I thought, I know. I said, I'm sorry, my darling. So shout out to Jay. I love the fact that he watches my videos, darling. Honestly, I've known this boy since I'm 18 years old and nearly 20 years. Anyway, so hey, my lovely. Okay, so this is the time in October. So we first of all got Temperance card, and this both maybe want to come out for Temperance. What is this one? Now this is a energy of healing ultimately. Okay, that's what the energy is about. It's about your healing, and it's about going through a period of healing, a period of change, a period of reflection also. It's a case of, in this instance, you're going through things that in the month of October, you're going through you're contemplating going through changes. You're contemplating potentially making changes in your life. This is something that is healing for you, Virgo, but it's something that can feel, because this energy was around me for 3 months, so I know this year, so I know exactly what it feels like. It can feel stifling. You can feel confused. You may feel stuck. You may feel unable to go places at times. However, the beauty of Temperance is that all those things, feeling stuck, feeling clouded, all those things actually help to bring you into awareness. The decisions that you're taking, the actions that you are doing at this time, even if they do seem slow and stilted, and even if they actually are the wrong decision, all those things are actually bringing you into awareness and helping you to uncover and to heal some of the things that are beneath the surface, some of the emotion behind why you are making the choices you're making, or alternatively, refusing to make the choices that you are making. Okay, so it's an interesting time, October. It's not this card, it's this card. This is the card. Okay, so we've got another major arcana. I'll just draw your attention actually to these here. Okay, this is number 14, this card. Okay, so 1 and 4 add up to 5, don't they? But if you and the Hierophant's number 5. Now, if you think about number 1, that's about the beginning of, initiation, starting to. And number 4 is your foundations, the structures in your life. So it's about beginning to look at the structures and the foundations in your life with Temperance, and that process is something that leads to change, number 5, and also is something that leads to that healing and that contemplation of why you do things, etc. Okay, so that's really the full explanation of the Temperance card. And then we get also with it, clarifying the Temperance, we get the Hierophant, number 5. This is actually linked to Taurus, another of the earth elements, my darlings. It's linked to Taurus. And this is about you receiving this guidance almost. You listening and trusting that this process that you're going through is bringing you awareness, enlightenment, and will bring you into a direction. Now, I don't really, because I've said all that, it's almost like these two cards are insignificant because I've kind of explained what is actually happening to you already, or what the circumstances that you might be experiencing are. The Hierophant, I always mention this, it used to be called the Pope card. So if you think about what the Pope represents to the Catholic Church, he's God's representative on earth receiving divine guidance, okay? That's the traditional idea of what a Pope is, or what we think a Pope does, whatever. So this is you getting that guidance. This is you being guided. And you don't have to believe in God to receive that guidance. Your guidance could come from, again, your own awareness, your own listening to your own inner guidance, your own intuition, okay? Your own experiences, responding to them, responding to how you're feeling at this time, having to wait, not knowing what to do, not knowing which direction to go in, feeling like you can't make a decision, understanding that is something that is actually bringing you enlightenment, okay? And that message comes through extremely clearly with these two major arcana cards. They are major arcanas as well, so it does suggest, huge life changes. I mean, actually, I know my friend Jamie. As I said, we've been friends for years, so I know his personal thing, what he's going through in his life. And I think that for some of you guys as well, these are big changes for you. These are huge decisions that you're being asked to make, and that's why it's taking time. That's why it's taking this time. So don't feel like, oh, I need to do something now. But there's an interesting dichotomy here, my darlings. There's an interesting sort of opposites here. We've got the two of swords. First of all, the sword energy is about your thoughts, your mind, your consciousness, your clarity, your communication, your truth. Okay, this is about what you think, what you say, you think, etc. Now, with the two of swords, it's a commitment to a way of thinking, a way of being, a way of saying what's truthful for yourself, a way of thinking of yourself, a way of thinking of your situation. Now, you're committed to a specific way of thinking about your situation, of trying to make this decision. You're committed to, this is how it's going to be. This is how it is. However, we always have to recognize that we are blindfolded with the two of swords, which means that our commitment, our dedication may be blinding us to our inspiration, our commitment to something. Well, this is what I do. This is who I am. This is what I think. This is what I want. That's just how it is. And that commitment to something in your mind, logically, the commitment to logic even, and there's nothing wrong with having logic. Obviously, we all need it. But maybe the commitment to logic is actually blinding you to something else. It might actually be blinding you to your passion, to really what you do want, to really what you feel you want within, to this inner guidance, this inner knowing. Maybe this logic is blinding you from making a decision. Now, everyone's different, and it might affect you in different ways. And it could be in a relationship, it could be in work, it could be in choosing to live in a particular country, or whatever it is for you specifically. You have got to recognize that there are two sides, there are two parts, like Pisces, as above, so below. We've got the outside, we've got the mental energy, the logic, the reason, and we've also got the inspiration, the intuition within us. and the passion within us and the wanting and the knowing within us. And maybe sometimes those two are not balanced, they're not connected. You're lucky. The full moon's today or tomorrow. Excuse me, it's 24th today when I post these. The full moon is, I can't remember if it's 24th or 25th. Anyway, you're lucky because your full moon is going to help to bring you into some awareness. The two of maybe there's been something that you've been wanting to do, you've been thinking about doing for some time. This wants to come out now. You've been thinking about doing for some time, but it doesn't seem logical, similar to the decision that I made this year, for example. So you've got these qualifications, you've got this degree, so what you should do is use that degree, use those qualifications, be a teacher. Like, that was me. But actually there's something else that's pulling you in. There's something else that you really want to do. Start a tarot channel or whatever it is for you, write a book, I don't know, go traveling. There's something else that's always been, you've always wanted to do that. The opportunity, maybe this is a gap that you've got in your life where you can actually take that opportunity, but you're being blinded by, I've got to pay my bills, like I was, I've got, I'm 35, I've got to get married, all that blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh, I came out in highs, guys, when I say marriage. I can't. I don't think I'm quite there yet. But anyway, Jamie's going to rip me for this. So there could be something else that you're already passionate about, you already potentially want to do, you've thought about doing before, something creative potentially, but it's something that fills you with fear, because remember that this wands is linked to the sacral chakra, and our sacral chakra is responsible for our intuition, imagination, our vitality, but it's also where we store the trauma and the hurt and the blows to our self-esteem that we've experienced in our lives. So the things that we are wanting, that we're creative about, that we're excited about, are also the most scariest often as well. This wants to clarify this, and it's the Queen of Swords. Well, clarity is coming for you then, clearly. The Queen of Swords is, again, sword energy, thoughts, minds, consciousness, clarity, communication, truth. But this is in fact, both of these cards actually are in the passive sense. So it's about, instead of taking action necessarily, it's about inner knowing, inner understanding, inner wisdom, and having that clarity of knowing what you really think. Having that truth, understanding this card literally means understanding what you think. That's what this means. Understanding what you want to say, understanding the reasonings behind the things that you want, for example, the motivations behind them. So you're going to get some clarity, it looks like, in the month of October. We now move to November. These two wanted to come out at the same time, so let's have a look. Again, look at that. So interesting, considering we've just had the Queen of Swords, and I told you what the Queens represent. It's about understanding what you think. This is the Queen of Cups, understanding what you feel, understanding your intuition, what your intuition is telling you. And even though there's an understanding that your intuition is potentially telling you something different on the surface with the sword energy, some of you are still fighting that change in awareness. It's as if you don't want to know. It's as if you don't want to really sort of accept, in a way. And there's no shade in that. That's how it is. That's the energy of the Five of Swords. That's why it exists. We all go through this. Every single one of us. We don't want to accept that this job that I've worked so hard for, this degree that I've worked so hard for, is just not what I want to do. Hence, I was a teacher for 10 years. I mean, I didn't want to do it then. No. I mean, I love the kids. They were fabulous. But anyway, I digress, darlings. But this is the end. That is the Five of Swords right there. Yeah. Because fives are about changes. Yeah. And obviously the sword energy, our thoughts, our minds, our consciousness, our truths, our communications, blah, blah, blah. So this is about, there's a change that's needed. And you feel that with the Queen of Cups. It's like, you need to stop kidding yourself and saying, because you know how you feel now. You know what's within. You understand how you're feeling. You understand how you're thinking, what you're thinking. It's just bringing that to your forefront of your mind and saying, okay, this is something that I need to realize then, if I feel this way and I think this way, then I have to change my approach. I have to change, you know, my decision making, or the things that I'm the things that I'm going after. I've got to change those. But that can be very challenging to change those things, to make that difference in your life. So let's have a look what else comes up. We've got there you go. I mean, you know, it is about this making the decision. When I said, this is a 7 of Cups, when I said to you, I talked at the beginning about the Temperance card, and I said to you, I spent 3 months with that energy at the beginning of this year, and I did, and it was, you know, it was hard to move through that energy, but 100% necessary, because it led me to here. In January, I was a teacher, and now I'm doing this, yeah? So that time it took me to go through brought me into some clarity. And at the time, I remember thinking and feeling like, this is a 7 of Cups. You know, this, oh, I think I know what I want to do. Okay, I'm going to do it a little bit. Oh, no, it's not working for me. Or is this right for me? You know, what about this? Like, is that really what I want? Is this really what I'm really experiencing? Can I really? That's the energy. And it can feel very claustrophobic, this energy, because it's like you struggle to make a decision. You're struggling to get that clarity. You're struggling to balance these two things, you know, what you're thinking and what you're feeling. You're struggling to understand what to do next, you know, what you can hold on to, what emotion is more important, you know, what motivation is most important. You're struggling to hold on to that. It's cloudy for you at the beginning of November. But remember what I said to you right at the beginning it's with this card and with the Temperance energy. Remember what I said to you, it brings you into that clarity and awareness. And it brings you healing. That clarity, that awareness, this struggle, the clarity, the awareness brings you into healing, brings you into a more solid, secure place, okay? So let's have a look at the final outcome then. We've got the Queen of Wands. So we're in a more confident place in the first week of, by the end of the first week of November. You know, we're in a much more confident place. You're feeling a much more alert, much more grounded, much more clear-headed, clear-minded. It might be that you actually choose, or you realize that you must choose. You realize that you must choose the direction that you are passionate about over the logic that you've been applying. You actually realize, do you know what? I have to go with what really truly I want, even if I can't make it make sense. And the reason you come into that sort of realization, you don't do anything about it yet. You don't do anything about it yet. But you get to that realization, to that point, because of the confusion of the last few weeks, if that makes sense, yeah? Because you've had this, to tackle this confusion, because things have been stopping and starting and stalling and not going exactly how you wanted. You or what you thought you wanted, but you were blind, remember? Because things weren't going so smooth for you in whatever way, relationship, work, whatever, you actually come into the confident awareness of your passion. You actually confidently realize, this is what I actually truly want. And remember, it's Queen, it's passive, so it's not active. It's not, if it was the King of Wands, you'd say, oh my gosh, you know what you want and you're going after it. Or if it was the Knight of Wands, you'd say the same, you know what you want, you're going after it. But this is more measured. This is more, again, it literally means understanding. The Queens literally mean that. So you are gaining that clarity and that wisdom in the month of this next couple of weeks. And even if it's, as I said, even if it's challenging you and it's hard, you've got to, it's all about going within. It's all about looking at your emotions. It's all about looking at what are you telling yourself in your mind? What are you telling yourself? Why you keep saying it would fail? Why you keep saying that it won't work? The relationship won't work, or the business won't work. Why do you keep saying that to yourself? Well, you realise that you keep telling yourself that, and you realise that actually it's just hard for you to accept that you do want to change. That you just realise that actually I do want to change, and it's just hard for me to accept that because I put all this energy into this one way of life, into this one way of living, being, thinking, whatever it is for you. I put all this energy into feeling this way, and it's just really hard for me to accept that actually I don't want that anymore. I don't need that anymore. I just don't. And even if it's confusing for you, you will come back in this by the end of this first week. This is basically the second weekend of November. You realise that actually, yeah, I do know what it is I want. And even if you don't take action by now, by the 11th of November, even if you don't take action on it, you will know that and you'll be confident in that. So Virgo, I think that I had a similar message actually for Taurus, and their reading is going to be called Go With Your Gut. They were completely different cards, but it was a very similar message, and really that's what this is not a sort of a speedy process for you. They got the Knight of Wands actually, so it's a bit more active, but essentially this time is a real time of uncovering for you. And again, it's around the full moon, so the full moons always shed light on what is within. We always start to learn and see what is within, what we've been ignoring, what we've karmically, in the karmic cycle that you're in particularly, we always get that opportunity with the moon, with the full moon. So this for you is a real important time, and even if it feels like things are moving slowly, remember, no energy is wasted. It's not going anywhere. That energy is actually bringing you into awareness and into alignment with your feelings, with your emotions, okay? So really try to experience it. And I always say to you guys that I live with the energies, and you think, what does that even mean? But that means that I don't distract myself from what I'm feeling. If I'm feeling, pardon my French, shit, then I just feel shit, and I just say, oh my god, I feel so shit, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to go anywhere, I don't want to see anyone, I can't stand it, and I just be like, oh, that's just what I just have to live with today, or for the next 3 weeks, or however long it lasts for, because I always know that by living with that energy, that the energy is moving on, that I'm moving through it. So live with it. If you try to ignore it, avoid it, don't think about it, don't feel it, then the energy's not going, it's still there, isn't it? It's just behind a wall. It ain't gone anywhere. You're just blocking it out. So don't block it out. Let it be there. Be uncomfortable, because know that within a week or two, you do come into that clarity, that awareness, that understanding, okay? And that is really what's waiting for you. So this is a really important time for you, Virgo, okay? And I wish you much love, much success in it. And obviously I'm here. You can check, you can leave your comments, etc. Speak to each other, help each other through these type of times, because it can be challenging for us, because when we feel like we're on our own, but we're not. You're never on your own, you never are on your own. Even if you feel that way, you never are ever on your own. I promise you that, my darlings, okay? So that's your reading. I'm going to upload your love reading for November next week, and so you can check that out. And there's a couple of other videos, there's one about the number 7, so that might be interesting to you, so check that out. And also there's one about mantras, about how we think, so trying to change the way we think and change our actions by the use of mantras. So it might be a good idea for some of you to, if you think that might help you, check that out as well. It's on my channel. Thank you so much for your love and support. I hope you've enjoyed that reading. Did it take your thumbnail? I didn't take your thumbnail. Let me take your thumbnail, babe. Well, we've got some sort of challenging energies for you, so this will be a thumbnail. But yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on Facebook, Key Wisdom Tarot. If you would like a personal reading, it is keywisdomtarot@gmail.com. And anything else? Is that it? Have a fabulous few weeks, my darlings, okay? Much love to you, my Virgos. Is that everything? Yeah, like, share, comment. Oh, it's everything. Okay, Virgos, thank you so much, my lovelies. Take care, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye.